Today we are doing an episode of Quarter Impulse. This is our Star Trek mini show, our companion series to our Patreon series, Warp Factor Fiction. You guys can go check that out if you want to check out our Patreon and more. It's over there. But Quarter Impulse we put out on our YouTube channel. And that's just where we kind of talk about awesome things in the Star Trek universe. So, Casey,
my friend,
what's on the dock today?
So today we're going to be discussing entertainment on starships. Exactly what do people get up to? What are these crews doing while they're out there on these long journeys out in space with really, chance of war, famine, death, injury. You could always be concerned about potentially having, contracting a disease, maybe getting pregnant. There's all sorts of weird things that can happen when you're out in space from different random alien encounters. So how does a crew blow off some steam? How do they hang out? I'd like to dig a little deeper on what exactly they're up to.
Very fair.
Is open or?
Yeah, please feel free, man, to jump in.
I think anybody who's worked in a restaurant or a small organization that has people of multiple sexes in tight places where they're dealing with strangers all day going back and forth, we all know how they blow off steam. It's sex. A lot of it with each other in various different ways, different triangles, different groupings, split. They go this way, they go that way. They fight, they laugh. It's a lot of sex. There's no way a starship crew, it's not just, they don't have to worry about disease. You know what I'm saying? They're more open-minded than we are. They're a progressive, open society with very little privacy concerns, which tells me they bang all the time. They're like bonobo monkeys, guys, right? That's how they get the problems resolved. 90% of it.
As someone who was in the military, I am 100% aware that is absolutely a thing you do just for fun. You got nothing to do. You're bored on a Wednesday. Go hang out across the quad. You'll meet somebody.
And the funny part about that is that you guys are talking about working in this place, but you're in the world. There's lots of people.
I thought we were talking. I thought we were talking just on a crew,
on a ship.
Oh no. That's my next step. I'm talking about you guys understand this after working in like a restaurant or bar setting.
Oh yeah.
Still on a world.
Yeah.
So in a crew on a starship anywhere, you are so limited.
To it's amplified, man. Yeah, amplified to the nth degree. Plus, there is enough people that it's not going to be like the same dozen, right? There's a couple hundred people that are probably available.
But like Enterprise, it's a little tighter. You only got 83 on NX-01. But then as you get up to like the NCC 1701D, now we're talking 3,000 people on a starship. You're definitely good to go. And any ambassadorship, depending on the mission, who knows who you're going to pick up. You might save someone and, save their life and like totally bang them out like Captain Pike did in Strange New Worlds. The opportunity to just engage in Pon farr with a Vulcan would be pretty exciting. I'd be hip for that. Be like, hey, so what's it like? Every 7 years, let's throw down. They probably break me, but I'm in.
And then on top of that, as Daniel is saying there, holodeck. So it doesn't really matter if there's only 83 people, right? You do the math, you break that down. Half are women, let's go 40. Half those are going to be either taken or unavailable, so that leaves you with 20. Half those aren't going to be interested anyway, leaves you with 10. Over a 10-year stretch of working on a starship, 10 people is possible. It's still pretty good, but you're going to get bored. But the holodeck, game changer. You'll never get bored. Anyone you want, anytime.
Because you can just practice with holodeck people. You can create a holodeck person, like I don't know, Leia Brahms. You could, wind up doing any sorts of crazy things. Like think about the different settings you can have for role playing. Lower Decks does that with Shrax and the Doctor, where they wind up being gangsters in a bank robbery, just so they can hump in the middle of it. It's perfect.
That's their foreplay. No. So, the possibilities are endless, but I think it's very clear it's sex.
Well, no, that's not. Clearly, we have many, many years of, sex is completely available. And that is it is a way to keep yourself entertained. But let's talk about more than just sex, shall we?
We can absolutely have some other stuff. Look, 1701 definitely taught us that they're willing to do lots of boring plays. Like real boring plays. They do Shakespeare.
Right.
They have concerts,
Yeah.
concertos with, people who randomly are like, hey, we're in engineering together and we all play violins. Let's put on a little concert. Like, it's
True.
neat that they do that. That's nice.
Those
At
had pirate
what
battles.
point? Here's what bugs me the most. All right. What your entertainment is all old as hell. You're in the 23rd, 24th, 25th centuries
Yeah.
throughout. And you're telling me you're gonna just I'm getting there. We're talking to we're only gonna read Sherlock Holmes or Shakespeare. We're only gonna be playing on in the holodeck on like old boats. We're gonna be watching old movies. Come on. Go ahead, Billy.
I dispute this. I think we only saw them doing Moriarty and fucking 1920s gangster bars because that's the only thing we would have understand. But I promise you, there have got to be a group of people on those starships because it's adrenaline junkies, right? I mean, you choose your career and you rise to the aptitude of what your natural abilities are in this world. It's a meritocracy, the purest of them all. So I promise you there's adrenaline junkies that are like doing something like nebula surfing that's obscenely dangerous where they're wearing like
something
a
like
vacuum
that.
suit, like
Or like, how about that game that Riker and his dad played, the Kembo or whatever, where they just beat the crap out of each other with sticks? Like, there's
Right.
definitely stuff like that. Or training with Worf. I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
alone is
or
pretty much.
doing like the changeling prep wars. You know what I'm saying? Like they went through the changeling planet on holodecks, firing at all of the shit, and the changelings had fairly advanced society. So they were doing some futuristic shit. I just don't think they showed us the futuristic shit. I think they were going like, here's some Shakespeare for you. You guys are too fucking stupid to get what they're doing.
Well, I mean, and once again, when you're on a holodeck, you can create any sort of situation. So you can go mountain climbing in the middle of wherever at any point. You can be like, I'm going to free climb El Capitan and I can fall without an issue because it's not real. I'm in a room.
But as with any corporate structure, when the boss is involved, you got to do something more milquetoast to ensure that nobody gets offended. So when we're watching, it's always because Picard or Riker's involved. Now, probably if it were just Riker, we're watching like an Indiana Jones 2 like remake that they're doing live. But like with Picard,
watching a jazz concert from 1940. Let's be real.
Picard's involved, yeah, it has to be watching Shakespeare in the Park from like 2000 or from 1998 because that's just who he is, you know. But like I bet you when he's not around, it's probably wild. We just don't see it because we're following him around as he goes through shit.
Like the poker games that we saw were only always among the bridge officers. We didn't see the lower decks, and they're strip poker constantly.
Oh yeah, dude, they got wild shit happening.
I'm telling you right now, the best representation of entertainment in Star Trek comes from an unofficial Star Trek show, and that is the Orville.
Oh, best Star Trek show out right now, in my opinion. Well, second best.
I think you're going to get movies like that, things like that. Why am I showing up on your mic so bad?
Are you?
Yeah, I can hear the echo. Yeah, it's going to drive me crazy. I need to take these off.
It's not passing through here that bad right now. Like it's nothing really noticeable. Maybe a little artifacting. That's it.
Sweet. Well, we're not on the XLR mics right now. We got to get on those. We're still
yes. Oh, so you're doing like pure condenser mics?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It kind of felt like that.
Well, these are XLR, but they're just for right now. They're not. So yes, going through and talking about the entertainment that goes on, I still think the Orville did it the best because like even when you had the Mocklin orgy and stuff like that, like they actually showed you there's some dirty things that go on, but not just that, but like when they're watching the Muppet movie or other things like that, like it works. Like or in JJ's universe when he's listening to Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
I was like, I feel like that's music they're going to touch down on more. Now, maybe not Picard because he's a bit stuffy at times.
But Kirk's definitely listening to super antique classic rock, you know.
I
would love to hear more of it. I'll tell you that much.
I want to hear what he listens to as classic rock. Like he probably puts on a little CCR and like is listening to it alongside Bach.
The problem is, like, what would it be referred to as? Because it's not classic rock for them. It's well beyond classic rock for them. We don't have anything
non-existent
old,
rock
so we
anymore.
have nothing that we could refer it to, you know. Or
I mean,
maybe
isn't Chuck
it
Berry
just they stop
technically?
making new rock and they just recycle it through their top 40. You know?
Chuck Berry's kind of classic rock, isn't he?
No,
Like
not at
ancient
all.
classic rock.
He's
You don't think
at
Chuck
this
Berry
point
is classic
golden
rock?
fucking oldies at this point.
Oldies. There you go. See, that's
Oh, I
okay.
didn't even
Yeah.
think about
Oldies.
oldies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call
Yeah,
them
that's what
golden
I'm saying
oldies.
is it phases out. So what will it become when it's that far phased out? You know?
Mm.
And why is it that after all of these planets that we visited, that our culture only comes from America or Shakespeare?
What are you talking about? Picard's French.
I mean, calm down, but he's still like everything's the UK. It really is. Let's be real.
Because America's number one, obviously.
I mean, duh.
We conquered
No wonder-
everything after World War III, and then we were the ones who made first contact with the Vulcans, and then we were the ones who led the Federation's united purpose. And in doing that, America became the figurehead of Earth in general. At that point, there were other world governments. They all dissolved and became part of the one world government on Earth in order to lead the Federation more unified. So American culture was our step out into the universe, right? And then from that defined who the Federation was. So as you go further in, every time we're introducing ourselves to a new species, I mean, we're further away from what it was. They probably have no idea it's American culture whatsoever. Kind of in the way that we've forgotten that American Southern accents are basically old British accents that never changed, and British accents changed, right? So like it'd be like that. Like we just won't acknowledge it anymore. Nobody will remember, and we move
yeah, that's absolutely true. And I mean, after what happened in the eugenics war, I mean, we don't have much of Asia left. Remember, Asia got demolished between World War III and the eugenics wars. They just got ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
So and that's part of because the eugenics leaders were there, so they were taking over and like just destroying the nations. So there weren't many nations left.
Oh, I did want to point out one thing because we are talking about Trek, guys. We do have a new prize this hour, and we'll roll it out until about 4:15. When we're going to have the show, the next show come on after that. And if you are the highest donor, you're going to win one of these badges. These 50th anniversary badges. So not this one, but you're going to win a new one in a box. So you will be able to check that out. So if you're the highest donor in this hour, you will win that, and then we'll keep going with the prizes.
I think it should definitely be the one you wore, a live shown worn.
No, they're getting their own. I like mine. What I find funny is that when you get to next gen, as far away as they're like 400 years removed from NX-01. And they are all about that old school. They're all about that old classical music. They're all about Shakespeare, all that old stuff.
Movies.
Except for the 40s. Not so much. They're not so much into the movies in next gen.
Oh, in next gen, they're not. No, you're
NX-01.
right. Yeah, in NX-01, they are. In Enterprise, they definitely are more into the movies, sports, training. You know, everybody's really keeping in shape. It feels like it runs much more like a Navy ship.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Far more comparable.
And you got to figure, like, everybody on that ship is in shape, which means they've got to have sports going all the time, regardless of what they are. They've got to have classic sports running. They got to have new weird shit like Ender's Game stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely going on. These people too healthy not to.
Right.
How is the Enterprise not like the Olympic Village?
Which just
constant hanging out and banging.
They are. They certainly are. We covered that. There's no doubt. The cameras just can't show you that. But literally in between every mission, they're like, ooh, hard day today. Anyway, who's coming to my bunk tonight? You know,
like Lower Decks, I think, is that way. You know, the fact that it's the open quarters is so that you're in open bunks so you don't bang, but it doesn't mean they can't find a way to go bang.
And they bang all the time. What else you doing? 7 Lower Decks, I'm banging everybody. Why not? What else am I going to do?
Heck yeah. And think about it too, because like think about on Enterprise. Let's go back to 1701, the original series. They didn't have holodecks. So the way they were entertaining themselves was similar to what NX-01 was doing. You know, they're running around, they're working out, and now you've got 300 people on a Constitution class. You're absolutely banging somebody. I mean, look, Nurse Chapel was throwing it everywhere. She wanted Spock something hard.
Well, I mean, who would?
Yeah, she was all about it. She wanted Spock so hard she couldn't get him that she settled for Kirk and had
Yeah.
his kid.
What about Yeoman Rand and that huge beehive yellow hair? Telling me she wasn't throwing down?
Oh, she could get it. She could get it. Everybody knows that.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to figure there's some people that like holodeck shit doesn't work for, right? Because I was thinking about this, like you get sociopaths, you get stuff like that. If you make the holodeck, you take off all safety measures on it, make it a real thing, and let them really kill people in it, would that assuage their need to murder? Right? Curious on it, or would they know it's fake and it wouldn't be enough to trigger them? I think about this in terms of adrenaline junkies. Would it be enough to jump off a cliff in a holodeck, knowing that safety measures will catch you at the last second to make sure you don't die? And if you turn them off and die, like your memory shot to hell for eternity because you're a dumbass, right? So is that enough, or would you have to do something in real life to match that adrenaline junkie behavior? Personally, I think there would be a sect that has to do it in real life.
So when you're talking about an adrenaline junkie from this standpoint, you got to remember that you're literally in a tin can floating around things that want to kill you. The universe that you are around, your general everyday is staying alive. That's A1 purpose every day. So as an adrenaline junkie, I feel like you're already fulfilling some portion of that. Now, yes, it can be taken for granted and does become normal everyday hat. So going into a place where you can, well, that's the other reason is entertainment also not just on starships, but entertainment planets. And I think that's where a lot of those come into play. So that's why you get your shore leave. And that's why you can go to a place like Risa where you can go cliff diving and all that, because that's how they roll.
That's why the Frankies can't make money.
Yeah. Or like, super zip lining for 40 miles. That'd be dope. I'd be totally in for that.
I'd do all of that stuff, but it'd have to be on the holodeck. But I would get that not being enough, for certain people. But like you got to figure, okay, maybe they can get away with, we have these hardcore situations, but underwater welders get bored of their jobs and get mundane and get killed because they just stop paying attention to safety measures, right? So if you're on the Enterprise, yes, you're surrounded by death all the time. You're in a tin can in space, but you're good at surviving. You keep doing it and nothing gets you. And even when the ship gets split in half, you survive it and you end up surviving to the next edition of the ship, right? So like what gets you going when like crash landing the disc into a planet just ain't quite cutting it,
They actually, what they do is they open up, they put two shuttlecraft apart from each other and then put up force fields in the cockpit, lower the ramps in the middle of space, and you just jump from one to the other without an EV suit.
Oh my God, that would be a thing. That there's policies on the ship to prevent that shit because somebody would do it if you didn't say, no,
hey, you guys want to go runabout hopping? Like, oh yeah, there's absolutely.
Look, we lost 4 crew members last year to this. It's not happening anymore. It's not. Get back in the fucking ship.
Enough of this crap. We're not doing this again.
God damn you new cadets, all you ensigns always think you fucking found something clever. Regulations are written in blood, assholes.
It's like you're not the first ones who have ever thought of this, nor will you be the last, and you're morons, the lot of you.
It's like when they were running the cart around in Battlestar Galactica and the missile goes off and kills everyone. You sons of bitches. What are you doing shaking a deck full of missiles for?
Well, I kind of think of like Strange New Worlds touched on that a little bit. Remember when they run around and they play the game Enterprise Bingo?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I feel like, a good way to catch your boredom. That's in a world, obviously, where you don't have holodecks. But it's like a good way to bond.
Version.
What's that?
I feel like that's the wholesome thing they're showing us. You know what I'm saying?
Those are the more wholesome ones. That's probably not as crazy as they get. Like signing the Scorch is nice. But the idea of you can set up, instead of having to put on an EV suit, you get to extend a shield around you so you can. I mean, that's pretty junky. I would be pretty adrenaline junkie ripped off that, man. That'd be pretty ridiculous.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Now, so for me, as we're going on and we're talking about, I want to, because we're kind of wrap up on this and we're going to go into our next show. What do you think? Take out the holodeck. All right. What is the best source of entertainment in any of the shows outside of the holodeck?
Outside of the holodeck, holy shit! See, okay, so were we talking like what would be it for me if I ended up on the ship, or for a regular crew member who's
Just
kind
on
of
the show,
listening?
like from what you've witnessed.
I would say drinking at the bar.
Yeah,
10-4.
DS9 at Quarks, man.
Yeah, they
Oh,
definitely have
Quarks.
I wanna
something
go
that
to
prevents
Quarks.
alcoholism, but they're always at the bar. Yeah,
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah,
they drink a lot. Yeah,
10 forward's great, but you get the synthahol. But yeah, I'm definitely more into opera in my captain's quarters. Yeah, if you're Worf, I only want Klingon opera now. Which, by the way, there are Klingon operas out there, and they're amazing.
I can't believe how fleshed out that language is.
So
You
yeah,
know-
maybe Klingon opera is my number one. That's my top form of entertainment. Or just hanging out on a well, okay, does it have to be on a starship, a Starfleet ship? Because I mean, maybe I'd go get a beer with some Klingons.
Well, it would just be in the show. Like any show that you've seen, the source of entertainment that came from that show for that crew that you think was the best out of all of them.
I mean, the best is hard because I can't think of anything really
Or
better.
the most appealing to you.
Yeah, I think Quarks, man. Just grabbing a pint over at Quarks and throwing some darts. I think that would be
It's all
awesome.
drinking.
For that
all drinking.
For that to survive on through all the years would be incredible.
It's
Listen, I don't like
either
drinking.
holodeck or getting shit faced. There is no in between. There is no other act. They don't bicycle through the hallways. It's holodeck or get shit faced, or fuck. So God damn, I can't stop with the profanity. I apologize.
It's all right. It's all right. No worries.
But
School kids watching everywhere. It's all right. I will say this though. I like that you picked DS9. I get it, but you do realize that based on what DS9 was and where Quarks was placed, you're basically drinking at an Applebee's in the mall.
Yeah, but it's really cool because my mall is literally built by slave labor who were taken in and used against their will by a group of people who now are supposed to be their friends after you've been given back the property. So guess what? That is a weird mall. All right. That is a people watching mall. You will have an experience every time in that mall.
I would say
beers in that mall would be dope.
I would say that you're eating. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the weirdest part of that mall, because it essentially is a station, but with that mall inside of it, is all of the Federation flags that are covering up the giant rebel flags behind them. The stars and bars, there's hiding.
I would say that you're actually eating at like the first Applebee's that's still run by the owner of the corporation, who's lost his mind the way that Colonel Sanders did near the end, and is so important to the company that they just let him do whatever the fuck he wants at that one. And this is at like the world's largest mall in a country that has no other place to shop, right? So yes, you're essentially eating at Applebee's in a mall, but you're eating a pretty fucking awesome Applebee's at like basically the only mall. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Dude.
Did you see that the head of security is a shapeshifter? Fuck, I'm in, man. What's going on here? His second in command is a hot chick with freaking slitted nose.
Dabo girls. We got Lita. Lita is a Dabo girl. I'm good.
I don't even need a holodeck with Quarks around. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you got to have a holodeck if all you've got is 10 forward. You have to, right? Because you need some spice to life. I mean, look, there's only so much Guinan can do to entertain you every night, all the time, as you're going through the fucking galaxy. But at Quarks, everybody knows your name, right? And there's like the best version of darts. Have you ever seen those machines he's got in there for gambling that are clearly rigged? I think they said that in the 3rd episode of the series that they were all rigged. And he, by the way, never fixed them. That was like literally a plot point early on, was they caught him rigging his machines and they never fixed them. And in like the second to last episode, somebody goes, "Hey, these machines are rigged." I love the continuity of that, by the way.
See, I have to push back on the 1701 part, because without a holodeck, it does have more than just 10 forward, because they still have an arboretum. They have stellar cartography. They have all of those different departments. There's a lot of stuff because they have family, because they have so many different things. So you are able to go to those cool different places where experiments are going on, and it's an open ship. There are very few places where the general public cannot go, like engineering.
There's not much general public on that ship, so
Yeah.
It's mostly small chunks of the crew's family because most of that crew doesn't have family with them. So like, you know that it's not much of the crew's family that's there. So it's almost all like government workers, you know? It's so
boring government workers who all hate their
so
jobs.
I'm just
It's like as
saying,
a child, I was excited to go see the Pentagon, but people who have to go to work in the Pentagon are not as excited
they
to
don't
go
give a
because it's just
shit.
work.
They're not looking at the designs of the filigree on the edges of the wall. Go, wow, this is amazing. They're walking by, going, this fucking place. I have to be here again. Oh my god, I need to find another job.
Yep, 100%.
Oh my god. Oh man.
So, Mick, what's your favorite though? What's your favorite non-holodeck related entertainment thing?
I see. If I had a choice, now I'm saying if I'm out there and I'm in Starfleet, I'd rather be on a starship than be on DS9. Although I love DS9, but I'd rather be traveling. If I on the ship, on the ship, I would say probably 10 forward. I know you guys say it gets bored, but I like the quiet bars. I like chilling out, seeing people I know. As much as I like quirks, there's a lot of in and out. You're going to a different galaxy at most points. Those busy Applebee's bars, not for me.
Fair.
I want to go to the quaint. But if it's any type of entertainment, Risa.
Yeah. If I can go anywhere, I'm definitely grabbing my Horgon and throwing that bad boy down and being like, I'm open. What's up?
I mean, for real. I mean, there is no, but Rice is something you can't do as a normal source of entertainment. That's something you get to do like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So like, I would count that.
Though.
But yeah, I mean, I think we'd all pick Risa over the holodeck, you know?
True. How about this? How about blazing with Bev?
I would blaze with Bev all day.
She's the greatest. Go down to the medical center and just go blaze with Bev.
Absolutely. She knows what's up, man. Beverly Crusher totally throws down. She's like, come on, guys. Let's all just smoke up.
Billy would walk in.
Something here? Why? What?
Billy would walk in and just put on a sheet and be like, I'm a ghost. And then he's holding his out.
Oh, I would bring it right to her. Okay. I would seduce as a classy woman like she fucking deserves. That's what I would do.
Damn straight, man. I would absolutely keep my clothes on in the first 3 hours, make sure she sees God. And then when everything was blurry and she didn't quite see my face, then we'd hump.
What are you giving her that she sees God?
Orgasms.
With your clothes on?
Yeah, my mouth.
Is God canonically tied to orgasms?
Yeah, it's actually a different candle.
Listen, if I'm taking care of business,
not the green sub rosa one from Grandma.
Gotcha,
she has the orange one. That's the God candle.
My bad.
If I'm out there and I'm taking care of business with my mouth, my shirt's coming off, Kirk style, and I'm
just have a tear in it, and then be like, do you see my manliness?
Lay down, you.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is terrible, and it is only 3:30, so kids are probably out of school.
Yeah, my son showed up about an hour ago.
Well, I'm sorry.
Heard him come in and the dogs go nuts.
Well, we're gonna kind of shift gears, but guys, just so you know, this is our show, Quarter Impulse. This is our Star Trek companion show to our Patreon series, Warp Factor Fiction, where we cover the in chronological order in the entirety of Star Trek on screen. So our third episode, which will cover season 2, the first half of Enterprise, is coming out this month. So be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, it's like 26 days worth of content that we are filling our brains up with in order to be able to historically and properly bring you the best representation of one of the greatest television franchises ever created.
Very true.
Thanks for being along for the ride, and hope you enjoyed this Quarter Impulse.